आप थोड़ा गेन बढ़ाओ ना उधर से, फिर भी नहीं आ रहा। चल ठीक है, ओके ओके ओके।
It's a lovely morning in Kalinga Stadium, Bhubaneswar, where we are awaiting the start of this match. It's Pool A, the third encounter, match 5 overall of the Hero Champions Trophy 2014. It's between the Red Lions of Belgium and the Kookaburras, Australia. This is how things stand in Pool A. England, of course, beating Australia, as a result of which England are top of the table at the moment. And Belgium beating Pakistan by 2-1, thanks to which they are currently on second place. The two teams walking out to the middle. Familiar green and gold for Australia and red for Belgium. Both teams had a very, very good opening encounter, although Australia would have been disappointed that they couldn't finish off the job. And Chris Cirello got a goal from a penalty corner conversion. At the other end, Belgium slightly less fluent than normal performance from them, but still was good enough on the day. Thomas Brills scoring their second goal after Tanhi Cousins had got their first. The second day of action, 4 matches to go. This is the very first one. And as always, we'll wait for the first order of proceedings. The national anthems of the two teams, beginning, of course, with the designated home team for this fixture, Belgium. So the 5 times champions Australia against the second timers in this Champions Trophy, and a lively little crowd once again of lots of school children who've come down to the Kalinga Stadium hoping to watch some top quality action, which is what the best of the best promises here in the Hero Champions Trophy 2014. The Red Lions off to a convincing start, 2-1 victory, in which, of course, the goal scorers were Thomas Brales as well as Cousins. Watch out also for their midfield maestro, their captain, John Doman, who's in outstanding form. Jeremy Gukasov gets a game today, the alternate keeper to Vanash, who started in yesterday's game. And watch out for number 27. If you haven't seen Tom Boone in action as yet, then make sure that you stick around for the 60 minutes of this match, because he always promises something magical. Their coach, Jeroen Delmy, himself a very, very experienced player of this format from Netherlands, and had 401 caps for his nation, played 15 Champions Trophy campaigns himself, 12 of which wound up with a medal of some sort. Over at the other end, it's the Australians who will be looking to improve from their performance yesterday. Russell Ford is in there, Jacob Wetton as well, who will be giving the attacking flair to this team. Simon Orchard will look to have a slightly better outing than he did yesterday. Tyler Lovell only played in the second half of yesterday, and in fact he and Andrew Charter coordinated, or rather alternated, and that'll be something quite interesting to watch out for in the course of the 60 minutes. They have more than just pride to play for, a lot of reputations at stake, but it is a young team which has been brought here by Graham Reid, and he is expecting them to really get some big match experience more than anything else. But of course, any Australian team in any sport will always be looking to get their victory, and nothing else will do for them. The two umpires for this particular game, Raghu Prasad from India, and he's joined at the other end by Gareth Greenfield of New Zealand. As we get things going, it's Australia who push things back in green and gold, attacking from left to right, and against them in red, Belgium from right to left. I'm Debayansan in the commentary box. Joining me is former president of England Hockey Board and former England goalkeeper as well, Simon Mason.
Morning, Dubai, and looking forward to this encounter. Australia are going to have to start better than they did against England yesterday. Belgium probably looking to be a little more consistent across the entire match, as they lost their way against Pakistan in the latter stages.
Absolutely, a very hotly contested Pool A with lots and lots of strong players across the board, and especially England looking quite sublime yesterday. Early possession for Belgium, but giving away a free hit here. Australia will look to get some early advantage. What they did lack against England was a good start, but down by a goal quite early in that piece.
And the reasoning behind that, quite simply, is Australia tried to play through the English players. And as we saw just a moment ago, if players such as Glenn Simpson carry the ball into contact, that's when the turnover was occurring against them yesterday. And they just need to be careful of that. I'm sure the reason that Belgium faded away yesterday was just because Pakistan lacked the intensity.
Second successive noon pushback for the Aussies. They will be used to conditions like this, but I can tell you that it is 28 degrees at the moment in Bhubaneswar, a real feel of 31 degrees, and a humidity not so comfortable, 48%. So that's something that all the players across the pitch will have to deal with. Possession now with the Belgians as they look to move forward, taking it through Gougnard, who had a very big influence in yesterday's game against Pakistan. Down to the left, Thomas Brales. He's got some players to try and pass down to, but it's been well intercepted first by Matthew Dawson, one of the young players from Australia who've been given a chance in this Hero Champions Trophy 2014.
And Gunnar, the player that you mentioned a moment ago, was one of the forwards, such as Coastings on the screen now, who exploited the spaces down the outside of Pakistan. And with Australia playing their narrow zonal defence, they're going to have to be aware of the strength of their opponents and where they like to play.
Van Doren likes to hold on to the ball and does like to pass it around in the defense. Lupai looking for Van Doren once again, just seizing the opportunity, looking to size up the opposition, but Australia, quite interestingly, prepared to sit back in the early stages.
Great aerial skills from Gunnar going through the middle, and unfortunate, he'll feel disappointed that the umpires decided to blow that without allowing him the advantage.
And as a result, now back with possession for Australia. This could be their chance to make an opening. The vastly experienced Simon Orchard first with the ball. Tim Deven down to the left. Still with the Kookaburras. The last Champions Trophy, which didn't have an Australian victory in it, was in 2007 when Germany won at Kuala Lumpur. So that just tells you the domination in this particular tournament. But everybody is expecting this time with a younger side, it will be a bit more of a challenge if they have to go all the way. There's Matt Goads. Made his way through, but just couldn't finish off.
And the substitution has really put paid to the Australian left side defence, because Bones come on and the interchange whilst Australia had stepped up, and it takes some scramble defence for them to get the ball away. Just a little bit of contact. Initially, Arthur van Doren was the player, shoulder to shoulder in defence, just to cause the off balance for the Australian striker.
And an interesting strategy here by Coach Delmy. In both matches, he's sent Bone on as a substitute, but he is a big impact player, there's no doubt about it. Russell Ford here, getting the ball through. Could be an opening here if Australia can somehow seize the opportunity. The first penalty corner goes to the Kookaburras. This is ideal for them inside the first 5 minutes.
Yeah, confusion between Leupert and Boccard in defence as the ball was pumped out. We just see Boccard jumping out the way of Leupert's clearance, and in doing so, as he landed, couldn't do anything about the ball hitting him on the back of the leg. And we have to remember from that replay, it's not the height of the ball, it's the danger. There wasn't enough ball pace on it to perceive that it was dangerous, so the height is irrelevant.
We mentioned that Belgium didn't quite have the most fluent of performances yesterday, and Boccard in particular was guilty on a few occasions of some errors, and he will have to eliminate those, because no disrespect to Pakistan, but Australia will pose a very, very different challenge. Chris Cirello will fancy his chances here. He's the one who goes for it as well. It has been stopped, but in the meantime, because it popped up, it's been given as a second penalty corner.
And not only popped up, the power on that's taken Gukasov's left glove off. Out to the top, stopped and flicked pretty much down the middle. Gukasov with a good view of it, but that's hit right in the middle of the target on that glove. The fastenings obviously not strong enough, and the gloves here stop the ball on the floor.
Cirello has one goal from the penalty corner, and at that stage yesterday it looked like Australia might just fight back against England. Nearly happened, just couldn't finish off the job. Can he do it here? He's also got some company in the shape of Glenn Simpson. It is Simpson, and it's just been squatted wide. Good piece of goalkeeping.
Yeah, Simpson's fired that low to Gukasov's right hand. Not particularly low, it was a savable height. There's people squaring up in the circle though. You see the replay here, down to Gukasov's right hand side. Great stick save, but it's kicking off on the pitch behind this replay. So Cirello was one of the two players involved in the circle.
Yes, and just a slight exchange of words, so already a heated start to this match. No goals as yet inside the first 6 minutes or so, but this is turning out to be quite a cracking start from the Australians.
So we've got contact in the circle. Belgium defending their areas with strength, and they're going quite happy to go shoulder to shoulder with Australia, not allowing any kind of physical dominance.
Was nearly picked up by Flynn O'Gilvy, but still does get cleared away.
So we see some face-to-face there. So Leupert going up against Cirello in the circle. Both players protecting their spaces, and this early on, what defenders will be looking to do is not to get overawed by the Australian presence.
Yes, this is a Belgium attack forming at the other end. Tell you what, that last picture confrontation in these days of social media interactions could make for a great caption contest. This time a shot comes in, but intended as a pass, really didn't get through to anybody.
But it didn't. Bone getting the ball through though. It was the collision between the two Australian defenders. Bone looking as he could for Dokia on that left hand post, just slightly over flicking the pass into the circle.
Dokia will have happy memories, although Australia did win the previous encounter in the last Champions Trophy in Melbourne. Australia ran out 4-2 winners, but Dokia got both goals for the Belgians on that occasion.
And there's a fine line between the physical contact that's existing, players holding their space, and it just started boiling over. That's when cards and corners start to get picked up in the 25s. There's just a line. You have to surround that passion and excitement just with a circle of control, just to make sure that you've got 11 men on the park at all times.
Almost losing the ball there for himself. Eddie Ockenden didn't really have much of an influence against England, and that would have disappointed the Aussies, but he is a massive player in this format. Now that's a ball that was swept in quite usefully and could have been dangerous. Matty Dawson with the ball.
Yeah, and Dawson had seen Wetton leading hard into the circle. Jacob Wetton's got some pace, but even he couldn't make the ball. It was just slapped through slightly too hard. Same as Bone at the other end. These early stages, the players, although they've got experience, the energy levels are high and the adrenaline's pumping, and quite often you can find there's just 5% extra on the passes that go away, a metre away from where they're intended.
Well, these are two of the best teams in the world, and it is resembling a bit of a heavyweight boxing bout at the moment, with both teams just feeling each other out, both boxers. No knockout punch yet. Back with Belgian possession, swept away towards the right by Gougnard. Belgium, of course, did record a very good victory during the World League semi-finals in Rotterdam last year. 3-1 was the final scoreline. They have seen a lot of each other in recent times. Also played in the World Cup, where Australia ran out 3-1 winners themselves. This time a long ball. It has been picked up. Quite a useful pass as well for Keusters.
And as well as playing against each other, it's the amount of video resource.
Here's Dokier, goes for a shot, got into the D, did let fly, but just wasn't on target. Otherwise he could have brought Tyler Lovell into business.
And once again we've got contact at the top of the circle, and I think Dokier was actually going to apologise about the contact. He was making sure that his opposite number, who he possibly caught with the follow-through, was okay. It was interpreted by Hayward as it was actually just intentional, which it wasn't. Because it's popped through here. It's Dokier who goes to the head of the circle. He's got Cousins on the near post. And there's contact after the shot. The camera goes away to the left naturally. Accidental contact because the players are just running through. There's momentum and there's collision there. That's completely accidental. Dokier goes to make sure he's okay. And all of a sudden, we've got Ockenden getting involved, pushing him away.
And just getting a little bit of a word there from Raghu Prasad for both the umpires thus far. It has been a slightly hot match to deal with, but they've dealt with it well so far. No cards flying about. But the players need to be careful, just need to cool it down and play some good hockey.
It's a great early ball downfield.
It really is, all the way inside the box, looking for one of Tom Craig, who was closest to it. Tell you what, yesterday against England, he really impressed. 19-year-old, just playing his 4th match yesterday. And some of his runs, especially down the wings, were quite spectacular. This time got the ball in, but before that, there had already been a decision in favour of Belgium. Well, it's had everything, Simon. Could do with a goal, because that will really liven things up further.
Well, just the level of contact and commitment in these early stages shows how the teams are committed in this competition to getting outcomes. And that game-by-game format really important, because although you've got this pool stage before the quarterfinals, teams will be looking to get process and momentum as they go through, so that when they face those knockout games, they're in the right frame of mind and they've practiced the things that they want to deliver. Bockard
sends it in. It's been kicked away by Lovell and will fall back for Australian possession. Just on that topic of pool stages and quarterfinals, just to explain to any viewer who might be watching for the first time, all teams will gain a direct entry into the quarterfinals, but who you play will be dependent on where you finish in your pool. And while sometimes we do talk about teams peaking in a tournament, in an 8-day event, effectively 6 match days, there isn't much time to think about that.
There isn't. Sorry, going back to what we just saw, Gunnar, beautiful left to right skills, and saw Briels on the right hand side, but as he used his skills to create the space, it was almost as if he'd made his decision about what pass he was going to give. Gave it anyway, despite Australian centre midfield positioning, which allowed for an easy pickup.
It's a Belgian team which is slowly on its way up, especially in the rankings as well. 4th ranked at the moment. Now down the right, it's a good pass in, just took a bit of a deflection, one thought, and that's why it's been given as a long corner, but looked like a useful ball coming in from Jacob Wetton.
Well, yeah, Benton's picked it up and he's looked to fire it through the last defender, and I don't see the point in doing that. He's on a static straight line. If he's going to get that ball to far post cleanly, he needs to change his position laterally by just a metre, because the defender in front of him is set and static. Oh, that's a huge contact.
That'll be a card. It'll be a green card as well, and it's been given to the number 32, Jeremy Hayward.
And that is an absolute conscious decision to leave your body in a point of contact. He didn't move into it, but he certainly wasn't getting in the way. As the ball comes through, complete commitment. Hayward has just dropped a shoulder into that. Cousins has picked up a huge impact. There, look, that on replay looked awful.
Somehow did seem like it was coming at some stage, but in between all of that, there have been some sublime skills as well.
Yeah, so that's the great skill from Gunnar, and he goes back inside again here and looks up, and as he looks up he sees the pass, executes, but there's a yellow shirt directly in the way of the ball to Briels. Now down below us on the pitch we've got umpires consulting. Gunnar has gone to them. I'm not sure you can change or upgrade what's already happened. But here's the ball. There's a little touch there, out of control. Hayward, look at the shoulder and the right elbow as he goes in. He's seen the point of impact. There, that's a deliberate step into the challenge. And Gunnar, who's close to it, knows exactly what's happened.
Cousins will be feeling just a little bit winded at the moment.
Oh, winded, to say the least, Divine. He's been hit by a truck.
Yes, interestingly, two teams with great physicality. Perhaps Australia's just a little bit bulkier than the others.
Well, just look at what's happening in the circle on camera. It's just that chase and that impact. Players deciding they're going to protect their spaces, and it's just a fine line to create your space. Boone very easily, basketball style, posting up, rolling off shoulders.
What in football terminology you'd probably call afters. Still with Belgium though, John Domen all the way back to Van Doren. Down to the left flank, Van Straydonk. Sends the ball and it's taken a couple of nasty deflections. Could really have gone anywhere. Tyler Lovell was off his line and very lucky not to concede.
Well, Briels is asking him to Prasad, umpire Prasad, about this, but as it comes in, it's deflected high. It's going wide off Briels as it hits the body of Australian defender in the middle of the circle. So watch this touch, that's going wide. So whilst it hits forearm of White in the middle of the circle, it's gone nowhere.
Some anxious moments for both goalmouths, but nothing as yet in terms of a substantial attempt on target. Neither goalkeeper has been pressed into action, but there's been a lot of action out in the outfield.
Well, sometimes in a passage of play or free hit that we just saw, Sorello comes up to drag flick it in, and you just feel he's forcing it in from that range. His drag flick is potent, but the defence is stationary and balanced. Needs to be a bit of lateral movement across the pitch, change of lines in order to get that ball fired in cleanly.
Ogilvy was looking for Sorello, but it's been picked up instead by the Belgians. Down the right now, looking to build on an attack of their own, but in the end just running out of yardage there was Tom Boone. How deep did he go to defend that one? He's pretty much an all-round player, does almost everything, and especially his ability with the drag flicks is perhaps a huge weapon for the Belgians. Sitting out at the moment, Hayward probably just counting down to when he can rejoin the action. Van Straydonk gets this free hit. Can one of these two teams unlock the scoreline at the moment? One gets the impression that could just make this more fascinating as a battle. It's already been quite an intriguing battle of wits between two great teams looking to find their feet in this Hero Champions Trophy 2014. Now looking to move forward yet again. Stockbrooks almost getting through.
During the course of this game, the umpires are going to have eyes in the back of their head. The contact in the Australian defensive circle, Belgian attacking circle at the moment, is extreme to say the least. There's shoulders and hands and legs, and we've seen out of shot a couple of defenders holding opponents' sticks. It is not clean defending in any way at this moment in time at all.
No problems with this one. It was swept in with a lot of power, but didn't take any touch along the way.
That's actually a fantastic pick by Arthur van Doren. All of a sudden had a lot of pressure and the ball was played onto his backhand by Lupert, and he's not going to thank him for that. He got away with it really well.
Yes, a very competent defender who impressed a lot when he played the Junior Hockey World Cup last December. And right from then, it did seem quite obvious that he has a bright future with the Belgian national side. Already has 48 caps after today. And is a testament to how good this 20-year-old is.
Super take. That's going to be a corner. That's such an obvious and unnecessary point of impact. Hayward, that's exactly the same. He's had a green card already. He is lucky to still be on the pitch with anything. If that's a corner for a deliberate foul, I appreciate there is a difference between team penalties and individual penalties, and the umpiring community have discussed this, but to me, that is a deliberate trip, and I don't understand why it's not upgraded to a card.
Living dangerously at the moment in terms of his disciplinary record, but can they keep the scoreline as it is? That is the big question, because Tom Boone is one of the players who's going to fancy his chances. He's right of picture at the moment and will be licking his lips through that mouth guard. Great opportunity here for Belgium. No goals as yet in this Pool A match. Can the Red Lions draw first blood akin to the colour of their jerseys? It's Tom Boone, goes for it.
That's a brilliant stop from Hayward. Having criticised him for giving away the corner, he's certainly decided to charge it down. It's hit him square in the middle of the shaft of his stick as he's charging a direct line at Tom Boone. See now, out to the top and stop clean, but look at Hayward's line, straight down the line of the flick, and that's hit him square in the middle. Tom Boone, however, not getting out the way of the impact.
And even after that, when a ball was drilled in from the right, he was there right in position to intercept the ball. So he's really pumped, sometimes in the wrong fashion, but he's looking to make a big impression in this particular game. That is the end of the first quarter. No goals to report as yet at the Kalinga Stadium in Bhubaneswar. It's Belgium 0, Australia 0. There have been some chances for both teams, and in particular of the penalty corner, which came to Tom Boone right at the end. Also some afters through the game, Simon.
Well, yeah, and just in short, you see running away. There's a quiet word there between Hayward and Prasad, the umpire, just possibly suggesting he needs to take a fraction out of the physicality of his defending.
Is something for both coaches to ponder. Of course, as we explained earlier, neither side will be affected too much by the result of this game, apart from the fact that their standings in Pool A might certainly be impacted. And in particular for Australia, they will want to win this one to prove that their result against England was just an aberration yesterday when they lost 3-1. Still no goals yet, and both teams will be looking to get that crucial first goal, which so often makes a difference. Australia showing a lot of commitment, that's for sure. And possibly that has led to a few mistakes, but this was the last penalty corner.
So corner out and stopped, and it's Hayward again running straight in, but look at the impact. This is a fine line, then it comes in across. Now that's a player going to ground, fortunately taking the ball on the stick. If a player goes to ground, as we see the replay, there is an impact. Hayward again has pivoted. Bones stood his ground to hold his space. But there's going to be some interesting. We saw on the board a moment ago in the replay something about contact. Whatever that says will be important to Australia.
Just getting some last-minute instructions. He is, of course, the most lethal weapon in that Belgian armory. But apart from that, there are some great skillful players, and they did make their presence felt yesterday. Didn't need Boone to score, and that's what they'll be looking to do once again today. It will be the Aussies who get things moving in the second quarter. And they step up the gas in terms of their abilities here. It's Tom Craig. He's got a terrific run down the right flank. Cut it back beautifully. Could still be an opportunity just at the edge. Flicked in. Well saved. Glenn Simpson with the reverse. And it was well done by Gukasov. Still coming right back, and it's been played in with a little bit of hope. Slightly physical challenge, but in the end, the Belgians coming away with the ball. This is their chance for a counter. Not too many Australian defenders back in their own position. Cousins up against Ogilvy.
Australia got numbers back. Cousins at one point did have a lateral ball across the goal yard. It would have been a really high-risk ball, but could have taken it on. Australia swarming back after that early chance. And it was set up, that early chance, because Belgium did not start that the game well. We see it here, backhand from Simpson. Gukasov getting right hand down to it bizarrely when it was a right foot save, really, but anticipating well.
Well, day one certainly did belong to the goalkeepers. One just wonders if the two keepers here will set the tone. Haven't really been tested too often, to be honest. This is a chance for young Daniel Beale. Russell Ford, one of the most experienced players in this team, looking to get around, but nicely done by Lupai, although he has conceded a penalty corner, just done deliberately. Lapse in concentration, and that could be fatal.
Well, either of these, the impact here, that push or that knock off the baseline, is a corner. Either of the decisions. Why he decided to do the second knock off the baseline, I will never know. He possibly would have got away with the impact, but certainly not the second touch off the back line deliberately.
And it's a team normally known for its discipline. Belgium are just probably rattled a little bit by the physicality of this game thus far. Now Australia had a couple of stabs of the cherry. And this man in particular, Chris Cirello. Big broad shoulders. Quite a heavy stick, I would imagine. And will be looking to whip it in with a lot of power here. The injection is good, as is the trap, and so is the finish. Chris Cirello manages to find the gap, just the tiniest of gaps in the Belgian defense, and Jeremy Gukasov's citadel has been breached for the first time today.
Well, it's been breached in the easiest possible fashion, out to top, straight down the middle between Gukasov's feet. Often the hardest place to make a save, and I'm now going to pick up a whole load of grief from Mason Ali on social internet that we've had in the past. He's read it going to his left-hand side, but Cirello's tucked his right hand round and pulled it back down the middle. The power beating the Belgian goalkeeper. Defensive reactions opposite to that. So Cirello, the goal scorer.
Second goal in this Hero Champions Trophy, both of them from penalty corners, not only for Australia but also for Cirello. And this 18th minute strike means that that rare error in defense from Lupai has really cost his team. Now Belgium have it all to do in this match. Coming down the left once again. Kjosters getting some support just at the edge of the box. John Doman getting that ball through, but well intercepted. Nicely read by Glenn Simpson.
Well, a moment ago, Dubai, you asked, had they been, or suggested that the Belgian defence had been rattled, and I'd suggest that's exactly what happened. The physicality of that first quarter has led to Belgium wanting to exert their own power and their own strength, and in doing so, Lupau's made a crucial mistake. He's tried to put a shoulder in, and all of a sudden, it's led to a corner that's led to a goal.
Still a lot of time to be played, of course, in this match. Remember, this is the four-quarter format, rather, 15 minutes each. And we've just had the first 15 or the first 19 minutes rather played in this game thus far. Here they come once again. It's
what a great pass from Denayer. Saw the underarm ball. He's picked up his body shape to pass it further away, 45 degrees across the right flank. Seen Cossins lead. See here, what a great disguised pass. Cossins unable to get a reverse trap.
Back with Australian possession. Dawson just on track to try and get that positive result that they will be hoping to ignite this Hero Champions Trophy campaign with a lot of youngsters. Remember, this squad will be looking for nothing less than a gold finish to keep up with what they've achieved over the last 5 editions. Glenn Simpson down the right, missed trap, just couldn't get to it. Young Craig. Now this has been picked up yet again. It's well done by Wetton, almost finding his teammate. Still back with him, could be a chance, and it's been beautifully finished off as well by Eddie Ockenden. That's the value of experience that this man brings to the table. The captain of Australia has put them 2 ahead now.
And Boccard has made a second Belgian crucial defensive mistake. Boccard runs back here to support the attack, got the ball in his stick, now decides he's going to spin cleverly and go through Ockenden. Ockenden getting a left hand down, Gukasov exposed, tucked under his arm as he's gone for the long extension, needed to get closer, but were completely undone by Boccard, trying to drive a ball through an international opponent. It just doesn't happen. The Aussies are too strong. Look at that, hand down on the turf, simple pick, reverse stick underneath the keeper.
Could this be the kind of quarter that Graham Reid and his kookaburras were waiting for? Just igniting their campaign, just beginning, kick-starting things. Oh, that's a beautiful pickup. So much of commitment shown there by Wetton.
However, that was almost from an awful pass that Australia back in, but what skill.
Terrifically done just at the edge of the circle. Oh, we're looking to get in. Glenn Simpson was trying to find Wetton yet again.
Yeah, so we see here, look at Wetton, round his knee, sees the ball, gets up, good balance and tries. There's a little trip on him that's accidental, tries to get the ball back into a passing position.
Youngster from Brisbane who's really made rapid strides in this Aussie lineup of late, become a regular. Few players slipping and sliding around. We saw that on day one as well, but it's been a lot better today. Now this is a chance yet again. Coming down the right, it's Fergus Kavanagh. On to Simon Orchard. Simpson. Oh, that's well tried, and the follow-up will land its way, and it's a second goal here. Or is it the final touch from Wetton? One of the two, Ockenden and Wetton, both are quite pleased. What matters is Australia are now 3 goals to the good against Belgium. This quarter has turned this game completely around.
Well, it's actually a fantastic first save from Gukasov from this shot on the turn. Great long stick, but all of a sudden, Wetton on his nose, has support from Ockenden on that far post. It's the simplest of tap-ins after a great bit of goalkeeping, but Belgium have fallen apart. We said earlier on in the transmission that they kind of capitulated a little bit against some Pakistan pressure, and they really need to step onto the front foot now.
Australia now playing like the champions that they truly are. 3-0. The coach is smiling, although he always has that expression on his face. I think it's somewhere between a smile and a grimace at times. But I can assure you that he would be very pleased with, or rather would be very concerned about the way that things are going. The Belgian coach.
Yeah, the Belgians haven't shown the fluency that they've seen. They did some beautiful overlapping and small pattern moves, but they're dwelling on the ball and the choices they're making in pass. It's too close to Australian opposite numbers.
Ockenden does well to keep this pass back in. It was just a little wayward from Simon Orchard. Orchard raises his hand just to apologise and chooses to take this free hit himself. Terrific commitment shown and rewarded with a goal by Jake Wetton, 23-year-old from Brisbane, who's just playing his 74th match in Aussie colours. Here they come again, once again through the middle. It's Ogilvie, one of the younger players. Got a ball through, looking for Wetton. Just takes a bit of a deflection.
It came off a foot before the pass was made, so Australia giving the advantage of the free hit. Or not. Okay. It did hit a foot to deflect as the way through. That's why the ball came back on. The players taking charge of it. We're unsure what the umpire has blown.
Well, Belgium will really want to regroup because they're looking all at sea at the moment, even defensively.
Now that's again contact in the middle of the pitch, and Gunard's been taken off his line by Tristan White this time.
Well, the last thing Australia will want here is defensive or disciplinary problems of their own, because they're cruising it at the moment in terms of the scoreline. What they don't want is to lose even a temporary man advantage. Here's Briels. Tambone.
Change of direction from Bone. Knew that as he went down the left flank, needed to pull it back to his right foot in order to execute a crossfield pass.
Will starts it himself. That's crossed in well. That was possibly the best chance that would have fallen for Felix Denaya, and just missed out on proper contact.
Well, watch the. It would be nice if we could see that replay from slightly earlier. Denaya coming in to finish on the far post, but Briels had gone for the return from Bone down that left-hand side, and again going to ground. There's a lot of players slipping over, but there's a difference between a slip and a trip and a push.
There certainly is, and that has been plenty in evidence this time around. It's a good cross in, but it will be dealt with quite comfortably by Kavanagh.
So here we see through the middle, we see the contact from Tristan White not getting out of Gunard's way in the middle of the pitch.
There have been a few. Here's Dawson. Australia have definitely controlled this game a lot better in this quarter. Although possession is still in favour of Belgium, but the numbers would suggest it's been a lot more even than that. Shots have really been the difference, and in particular the precision.
Well, if you look at those stats, Belgium have had the most off the ball, but what Australia have done with the ball when they've got it, yes, okay, it was two horrible defensive errors to start with that they capitalised on before the tap-in goal, but Australia just a bit more meaningful, haven't turned stuff over as much as the Belgians have.
Picked up on the left again by Jake Wetton. He's having a blinder of a game, although just as soon as I say that, loses possession. Thanks more to a tremendous tackle. He's made a big impact. Quarter of the third goal.
So we see the peel and shot is fantastic in the first instance, right to the far corner. It's a great bit of goal-keeping for Gukasov. There was nothing he could do about the follow-up. He saved that on the end, and Wetton, you see there as his shirt comes up, what you see underneath that is the vest that holds the GPS tracker. A lot of these teams now track every single metre that these players run, things such as heart rate, body temperature, so they can assess the physical conditioning and make sure that there's nothing compromised in their performance.
Well, this has been very well picked up. It's a good touch here. Lining it up on the reverse. Terrific finish in the end, but you would have to say that Tyler Lovell could have done a lot better. Nevertheless, it's a good finish there by Sebastian Dokier.
Well, I'm glad you said could have done a lot better. We see on the replay as it comes in, it's a shot straight down the middle. Counter-attack. Little bit fortunate the ball got through, but all of a sudden, driving at the head of the circle, Tyler Lovell ready, set, and can't get his feet together quick enough. All of a sudden, it's the simplest of finishes for Dokia. Not in the corner, but he could have done much, much better as an international keeper.
This game really has come alive, and if Belgium can get one more goal, then we will be in for an absolute cracker. Still a lot of time left in this game. 35 minutes to go, and that is why one gets the impression there could be a few more goals, a few more cards perhaps.
Well, I think it's really important that the Belgians have got that goal to bring themselves back into this. There was a danger that Australia were just going to run away with it, and in getting that goal it just raises that degree of uncertainty. It means the Australian fullbacks will step back slightly deeper, and Belgium can get just a tiny, just a fraction more forwards momentum on the front foot, be a little more positive, a little less reactive to what the Australians are doing to them.
To think that this game can now change quickly in an instant, proof of that was seen towards the changeover between the first and the second quarter. Belgium had the best chance right at the end of the first, but it was Australia who came out all guns blazing and got 3 goals. Can they get a fourth here? It's Tom Craig who's got some great space to run into, looking for a flick back to Russell Ford, but just couldn't control the ball all the way.
Well, players, I think, anticipating that the pitch is slightly slippery to turn, so rather than trying to drive and change direction, we've seen consistent interchanges between teams, players down the flank, overlapping players.
That's a beautiful bit of skill, great pass, but just couldn't finish it off. That was awesome to begin with from Felix Denaya, and nearly found Dokia on a sixpence.
Oh, Dokia was in so much space. Sorello, where is the marking? Dokia's just pulled around it with too much right hand, and all of a sudden in doing so, bit of energy, enthusiasm, crashed it wide of that right post.
The Aussie defence is certainly under pressure at the moment, and that's why this has the makings of a classic in the Hero Champions Trophy 2014. Pool A encounter between Belgium and Australia. Here come the Aussies once again. Craig almost managing to retain control, but eventually gives the ball away. Belgium not complaining. Oh, that's a crucial interception.
Yeah, the man who's on both ends of the performance spectrum, in my opinion, at the minute. Jeremy Hayward, some fantastic tackles and interceptions, and yet in that first quarter decided that he was going to knock the stuffing out of his Belgian opponents to create his dominance.
And here in India, an oft-repeated phrase, taking the law into your own hands. That's what he almost did. But it's been a substantially improved performance since then from the Aussies. And the Belgians have just got a little bit of a fight back. If Australia find a fourth goal here, that will be a huge advantage for them. Getting another goal before half-time would be absolutely priceless for the Kookaburras. Sent in. Oh, the first bit of defending.
Well, it's a great choice from Lupayat to just deflect the ball away from trouble rather than trying to pick it. It was a full extension in the middle of his circle. Just angled the stick to get the ball away from danger.
And again, it's Lupayat with a very, very crucial touch there. Still with Aussie possession though, as they're looking to finish this quarter on a high. This quarter has definitely belonged to them. Belgium have just begun a little bit of a resurrection in this match. And they complete that with another goal of their own. This has been split through forward. Few men moving with Cousins. Cousins has got Denier to his left. He's also got a man inside the box in the shape of Van Obel. With some support now from the goal scorer, Dokier.
There's cards in the circle. We knew something was going to happen at some point during the game. Umpire Prasad, that looks to me like a yellow for both Dorian Thierry to start with, and then it looks like Thomas Craig as well.
There's so no advantage for either team, both with now 9 outfield players for the next 5 minutes of this game.
Well, to me, that's the interesting part of that is not the fact that two teams have gone down to 9 players. Other than the ball in the circle now.
Yes, Belgium still with a chance, and that's the second goal as well. Oh, yet again, the Aussie defence in shambles, and taking full toll there was Flora Van Obel.
Yeah, it's a little deflection in the middle of the circle. All of a sudden, interchange. It's Gunnar who gets it across. Van Obel with an edge, actually. Probably wanted a better contact than that. It's enough to get it into the far corner. Tyler Lovell in goal with absolutely no chance. Belgium never giving up on that ball. Gunnar leading through, but it was the bobble in the middle of the circle that gave the opportunity in the first instance.
And disappointment for the man who was just sent to the sin bin for a while ago. And just as you were mentioning, Simon.
Well, the issue to me is it's not the teams that are down to 10 in total either way. It's the fact the umpires have set a precedence now for cards based on off the ball contact. We've talked about it a lot so far, but we're only just coming to half time. So anything that's going to happen now that's picked up suggests there's going to be more cards in this game.
But there's one thing for sure, fans wouldn't mind a few more goals, and it looks like there will be a few more goals in this game. This time it's a long ball attempted for the captain, John Doman, but first to it will be the man playing that defensive role there, Tim Deven. And back with the Australians, they have by far had the better quarter, but this last few minutes have completely belonged to the team in red, and that's what will make for a very, very exciting second quarter, or rather second half in this match. Nick Budgeon down the right. Long ball attempted but couldn't find Wetton.
Lupert again on his nose on the backhand, deflecting the ball away from trouble.
Coming towards the end of this second quarter, it has been a fantastic performance from both teams, as physical as the first half was, but this second quarter has seen a few goals, that's for sure. It's 3-2 at the moment at the end of the second quarter. Terrific goals all around, some field goals, 4 field goals out of those 5. Australia going 3 up at one stage. They had goals from Okenden as well as Jake Wetton to go with the penalty corner conversion early on in the second quarter from Chris Cirello rather. And then Belgium coming back with goals of their own, Sebastian Dokier, and right at the half-time, literally a minute before, there was a fantastic finish from Florent Van Obel. Very opportunistic, and that is all that counted. So there's still just a 1-goal gap between these two teams. Not much in it between the two of them, and 2 players who still are serving out a few minutes of their their suspension as a result of yellow cards. But there's still going to be everything to play for in the second half. At halftime, it's Belgium 2, Australia 3. Match number 5 of the Hero Champions Trophy, and at halftime, this is poised to be possibly the match of the tournament so far. Belgium trailing Australia by 2-3. It has not been short of action, Simon Mason.
Hasn't indeed, and we thought that the devastating 3 minutes from Australia would take them away from Belgium. First corner goal, nutmegging Gugasov straight down the middle. The power from Siriello he was unable to cope with. was the start of that 3 minutes. He was delighted with a fairly straightforward finish. Then some dreadful defensive errors leading to Ockenden sliding it under the prostrate Gukasov underneath his outstretched right hand for a relatively simple finish.
Couple of defensive errors behind those first 2 goals, but this one was an excellent bit of goalkeeping. Unfortunately, goalkeeping is a thankless job, Simon.
It is indeed, when you've got 2 gold shirts sliding in on the far post, and we thought they might have been dead and buried, but suddenly Dokia creating a nutmeg of his own between the feet of the Australian goalkeeper Charter. And then as it's fed in, a fortunate deflection from Belgium's perspective, Gounard picking up on it and Van Orbel just pushing it into an empty net to bring Belgium, the Red Lions, right back into this great positioning in the middle of the circle, anticipating the ball breaking through.
One of those occasions when a lack of touch made up for anything that might have been missing in that attempt. Belgium, interestingly, have had more circle penetrations, slightly more possession for Australia, and there have been a few cards in today's match. Might not be the last.
Well, the most interesting fact there is circle penetration for Australia. 6 converted into 6 shots, 100% at this stage of the game. Outstanding.
This tells you that they have been fairly efficient right through this game. And there they are. The Kangaroos got his boxing gloves on, and that's certainly been the case in today's first 30 minutes. They have been a lot more competitive than they were, easily looking like what could be the most exciting match thus far of this competition, the Hero Champions Trophy of 2014. Lots and lots of support from the locals here at Bhubaneswar, which has been a heartening aspect in this tournament thus far. Let's go down to Michael Absalom, who's got the Belgian coach with him.
Yeah, I do. Great fight back in that second quarter, Jeroen.
Yeah, we had, I think, 4 bad minutes, and I think after that we showed how we should play hockey. So the message for the boys is easy at half-time. We have to continue the way we did and see how far we can get, but it will be an interesting fight second half.
Certainly, as you mentioned the word fight, are you surprised at the physicality of this game?
No, but that's men's hockey. So we know the way the Aussies play, we know the way Belgium plays, so I think that's all in the game. And it's a fair fight, so we keep it like that.
It's a great game. Keep going. We're enjoying it.
Thank you.
An interesting quote there. Decided to play some hockey, and since then it's been a different ball game, Simon.
Yeah, and also suggesting that they know what they do and they know what the Australians do, and they've managed that and they've coped with it. Interestingly, down beneath us, the Australians are not yet, but they're just starting to come back out of their changing room with 90 seconds to go. We've got some history across international competitions of teams not taking the field quickly enough and being disrupted. Belgium paid the price for that at the start of that second quarter when they came out. They weren't ready and a goal came very, very quickly.
This perhaps could also just be a little bit of gamesmanship, and well, the Aussies in any sport have never been too afraid of trying that out, but this does look like a red-hot contest at the moment, simply because Belgium have got those 2 goals back, so it's anybody's game, even though Australia have that 1 goal advantage.
Yeah, a really close competition. Important that obviously that the Belgians did come back into it. I thought the first goal brought them back in, but all of a sudden the second goal really brought the fight back to the Australians and promises for that fantastic second half.
What will be quite interesting to note is whether they take that physicality from the first half into the second as well. One would suspect that if the 2 teams do settle down and play some beautiful hockey, then we could be in for a treat either way. But there is a fair fight out on the turf at the Kalinga Stadium in Bhubaneswar. First of 4 matches, lots and lots of action still to come, but this game is far, far from settled. 30 minutes of suspense and hopefully some terrific hockey, hopefully a lot of goals as well. Tyler Lovell has come back because Australia have this habit of alternating their goalkeepers. So Andrew Charter did the duties for the second quarter and in a sense did concede 2 goals, but more than the first goal, it was the second goal where he didn't have much that he could have done. So the Red Lions will get things moving in this particular quarter, both teams swapping ends. Belgium now in red going from left to right and defending their goal on the right, and green and gold are Australia. Early attack attempted by the Belgians, suggesting that they will try and take the fight literally to the opposition camp. Back with the second half, and I'm Divine Sen, alongside me Simon Mason, former GBR goalkeeper. The goalkeepers have been quite busy today. There have been a few mistakes, but might well be called into action soon.
Yeah, they may well be, and in terms of what's expected from this second half, I think you're going to find a slightly more control from the two teams. You talked about taking the fight to them, but the umpires have set the precedent with the cards. I would expect still see the pace. The coaches would have been concerned about the turnover rate, and all of a sudden they'll be looking to handle, both teams handle the ball better through midfield to create the forward opportunities.
Yes, we just caught a glimpse of Craig, who's still sitting out as his Belgian counterpart, but this is Australia on the move. Jake Wetton nearly finding an opportunity for himself. An early initiative would help, as it did for Australia in the second quarter. They will be looking for that early goal if they can get it. Bunyard just hasn't had too much of an impact on this game as he did against Pakistan, but that's also possibly because Australia have given him less room to work with.
I would agree with that completely. That was going to be exactly my response to that, is that he's a quick and skillful player. And we said yesterday that the Pakistan team don't have the conditioning that some of the other European sides. Now it looks like another card's been picked up by Australia, so they're down to 8 men outfield for knocking the ball away, I think.
And they also give away possession here. Free hit for the Belgians in a very useful position. And Stradonk just holding up the ball for a little while. Van Doren, how impressive has he been in defense? Down to the left, Lupae sends his ball in, looking for a deflection, and could have been quite wicked as well, and nearly found that equalizer.
Yeah, and all of a sudden the ball slid. Great open-handed slap, good disguise, lining up Beale at point of deflection. There's the green card that's been picked up by Matthew Dawson for knocking the ball away. A little lack of discipline. So we're looking at a situation now where the umpires have set the precedent. He's knocking the ball away, deliberately running away from that. Cosin's frustrated, you can see in his body language, and the umpires are not going to be prepared to take any rubbish in this second half. Both teams are going to have to focus intensely on their discipline.
Well, the players who had earned those yellow cards are back on now, so Belgium have that just extra man advantage for a little more while.
And Belgium able to get into that Australian defence relatively easily. There's a ball crashed in by Denayer across the face of the goal. Look at the height of the press. I was going to say at the start of that, all of a sudden Belgium, knowing they've got that extra man, they can commit their central attacking player right up to within the 5 metres of that Australian 16, and in doing so they just start to create that element of doubt. It's a really important mental trick to create that extra pressure.
Yes, I was going to say the coach Jeroen Delme as good as his word, because his players are playing some hockey now, so quite clear that what his central message would have been during the half-time break. Australia still, though, have that 1-goal advantage and will be looking to build on it. This is Cirillo with the ball in, but picked up by Lupae. He's blown hot and cold on a few occasions today, but on the whole, his defending on these last couple of days has been magnificent. Bunyard.
Now he needs to go cross-field. There's the pass. He's got support at centre field.
Right inside the box, and a penalty corner given away by Australia at a critical position. Will they go for the TV referral here?
Well, they don't know what the decision's for at the moment, so they can't contest it. Now they do, and they've blown for that team referral. Wait to hear the question. I suggest it's been given for a foot, and they're saying it hasn't been.
Saying it's not. No push.
It wasn't the foot, so the question is, was there a push? And he says there is no push. I'm inclined to go with the Australian defence. Whilst we've criticised the amount of contact, I can't see any contact within that at all as a push. I thought it might have come off the toe of Kavanagh, but it didn't. So Gunnar feeds that across field. Lovely first touch into the circle on a deflection. Now is there a push? No, but you can see how that would have been given by Gareth Greenfield, the umpire, because his line of path, his line of vision, he can't see the depth away between the two players. My suggestion at this point is this will be overruled in favour of Australia.
could turn out to be a big decision yet. Early moments of the third quarter, if Belgium can get a penalty corner, will help them claw back into this game completely.
Defender, therefore you should restart the game with a bully. There was no foul.
Thank you.
Failure retain, no foul.
Thank you.
Yeah, neither team upset by that, because the question was there a push? There wasn't a push on the video referral. The bully then restarts the game because effectively there wasn't a foul at any point. So you would expect the two teams to identify who had the ball when the whistle was blown, and the play will go back to them, assuming a degree of sportsmanship.
Yes, this has been a game which has been hotly contested, and just sums it up what it is about. It is a pool encounter. Remember, both these teams are already in the quarterfinal, but nobody wants to concede even an inch in the Hero Champions Trophy. It's the best of the best, and that is what they are proving on the pitch as well. Down the left flank once again come the Belgians. Lots and lots of space in defense, but it's how they transform it into attack. To be fair to them, has been quite impressive in this third quarter. Whoa, that was a critical interception. Well done by Russell Ford.
Yeah, Rusty Ford having to peel on his toes and bash that ball away, because it was a deflection, and whether it's deliberate or not, Belgium's getting some dividends from balls fired in and then just with the first touch to change the line of the ball going into the circle.
Again, looking to work the ball in. Well, you know what Ian Fleming said. Once is chance, second time is coincidence, third time it's open warfare. So that would suggest that it is a deliberate tactic employed in this third quarter by the Belgians.
Yes, indeed. And the overhead that we saw a moment ago, I think Australia were lucky to get away without conceding a corner. The rule simply is that the person who is receiving the ball there in the primary position should be given that 5 metres. If another player runs into that deliberately, then you can suggest that it's deliberate, it's a corner. Obviously if it's in the circle, if it's in the 25, then it's a free hit to the attacker.
What a fantastic run there by Simon Orchard, just creating some ripples in that Belgian defence, and also winning a free hit in the process. Even down to the left, Kavanagh has got some options inside the box, chooses to go though with Russell Ford. Russell inside the box. Oh, that's the fourth goal. Just the little tickle that was required. And it's young Flynn Ogilvie who has provided Australia once again with a 2-goal cushion. This match hotting up yet again.
And a relatively soft goal given the pace of the ball into the circle. Driving along the baseline, Russell Ford setting up the pass across. He's got his eyes up, the ball's under control. It's just a little flip down the right foot. Unfortunately, again, it's Boccard in the heart of that Belgian defence. Doesn't get his lines right, and it is the easiest of taps inside that far post for Ogilvie. Russell Ford just sees the most simple of passes. Goalkeeper and defender not committing to the ball across. Gukasov must be frustrated by a lack of defensive strength in front of him.
What a moment for this young man, just playing his 6th match in a green and gold jersey. Getting it on one of the biggest stages of them all. 36-minute strike, and that means that now Australia again have given Belgium a little bit of a mountain to climb in this match. They're perfectly capable, and there's perhaps the opening that they would have been looking for.
Yeah, Boccard trying to make up for his earlier mistake. The free hit was given just outside the 25. The free hit, so Boccard it is who plays it in. It's that little first touch. Good possession from Cossins as he goes to pick the ball up, but hideous stick tackle from Hayward yet again.
Just their second penalty corner, just had one before this, and that's why Tom Boone has really not had much of an influence on this game today, and he's not on the pitch at the moment, which means that it's up to the likes of Lupai and alongside him Cousins, who might be setting up for the battery. It is Lupai who goes for it. First runner, excellent job. Follow-up shot, well saved. Falls here for Cousins. Can he get 2 in 2 matches? But just cannot finish off the job. But another penalty corner because of a high ball.
Yeah, in the end, it's the reverse stick, the final format of the reverse stick, that all of a sudden you're looking at a situation where it's come in. First is charged down by Hayward. Second shot is simple goalkeeping. The pick here is not a clean pick to start with. Player having to shuffle across and there's a second Australian touch lifting that ball high. That's a good controlled save from the keeper. Knee extended to get the body weight over the ball. Gossin's unable to get it cleanly back on target.
Remember, Lovell hasn't conceded as yet in this match. Those 2 goals had come against Charter. This time around, again, a tremendous bit of work from the first runner. Follow-up shot, and it has found its way in. So Lovell does concede, and Belgium get their third. This is turning out to be a goal fest in Bhubaneswar.
So out to the top and stopped dead. Once again the flick is charged down. It's the second phase play. Super battling from the top, and it's that reverse stick across goal that's touched in by Jean-Jean Domen in front of goalkeeper. Through his legs, no chance there. And so despite the high corner defence, that's a really clever suggestion of back stick from Dokia to keep it that flat because his hands weren't low.
What a terrific game that we're being treated to, because each time one of the teams pulls away, the other one just comes back, catches up, and that's exactly what's happening again. Just a goal difference between the two sides, which can be made up in no time. Yet again, Gukasov comes off his line, has to just shimmy it away, but still with Aussie possession just at the edge. Looking to try and get another goal going. It's Kavanagh. It's well played by Dawson, trying to keep it back in play. Seven goals in this match already, and still a lot of time halfway in this third quarter and another quarter of play. If you're a hockey fan, then make sure that you stay riveted right to this fixture. This is turning out to be the best game of the tournament thus far. Each time Australia score a few, Belgium find their way back into it. Here come the Aussies once again.
Gossin's got to be careful. There's contact in the middle of the pitch. Could find there's a card. It's certainly a strong whistle.
Doesn't get one. It is at the moment 10 on 10 in terms of 10 versus 10 rather in the outfield. No cards for either side. No present cards. It's been whipped up desperately.
Look like it smashes it away.
Picked up here by Matt Goetz. Almost working his way through, and there will be another card here.
Another card for the stick tackle. It's a heavy challenge as Australia drive down the right-hand channel.
Goal fest here.
So, as we see here, does this go back stick? Is this with edge, or is that, to me, that's the back of his stick? His hands are so high. Can't see from this, but look how high Dokia's hands are. The stick, the back of the stick, the ball bounces down into the turf. Impossible in real time to see, but the benefit of our slow-mo. That's a stick check as the ball comes down the middle of the pitch. Why Prasad's given that as the player carries the ball down the pitch. If they're driving right to left, it's easy to extend the head of the stick beyond the ball to create the artificial contact. So really in slow-mo, look at the back of the stick, the rotation there. That is the back of the stick. Almost impossible to spot. The only player who could have called that was the defender near to Dokia at point of impact.
How critical could that prove to be? Because remember, both teams have their referrals still alive, as indicated by those green dots that you can see alongside their names on the score sheet. But what a score sheet, 3-4, and promises for a few more goals possibly before this match is through. Goal scorer of the last, Jean-Jean Domen, whips this one across but doesn't find a single Belgian stick.
Yeah, both teams now just need to compose themselves a little bit. Domen, they're summing up that once the energy starts to build, the adrenaline and the pressure, you start to force passes. If he looked up as opposed to trying to play the ball into the heart of the D, he'd have noticed he could drive further across the circle and possibly cut into the D himself.
Okenden for the first of the field goals today, which already feels like it was a long, long time ago. Here's Hayward. all the way back in defense. Fergus Kavanagh.
That's a great bit of skill, cutting round Bones. He drives forward. For a big man, that's a good use of ball left to right.
Big unit is Chris Cirello and does quite beautifully there. Still with Aussie possession. Wetton almost working his way through. He's got some magical stick work, and that's quite essential for a man who's quite tiny in stature compared to some of his teammates.
Yeah, umpire Prasad just needs to make sure he puts an arm up when he's pointing which team have possession. Otherwise, the people who get the ball first are just going to get it and play.
Into the last 4 minutes or so of this quarter, and still looks like a very, very close match.
Look at that ball movement right to left around Tom Bone as he commits on the forehand.
Belgium at the other end, almost creating an opportunity of their own. It was whipped in with a lot of power by Felix Denaya, but didn't quite find any of his teammates. Now Okenden, some good skills from him, looking to shield the ball away and gets a free hit for himself because of a little shove from the Belgian opponent. Now will he go for a long ball route? This is Tim Deven. Oh, almost giving the ball away. Could have been quite critical. With the number of red shirts around as they try to put some pressure. Once again picked up in midfield by Matt Goetz. Looking for some support inside the box.
Yeah, Ngoda's been unusually quiet this game. Hasn't had the dominating performance that he had against England. And whilst we reflect back on that game, I feel that Australia won't be worried. You talked earlier on about who could do well in this tournament. I don't think Australia will be worried by the result of that game, because actually the ball just didn't fall for them on a couple of occasions. But Godis does need to be busier.
Oh, Australia on the attack again, but just not able to pick up that ball from his teammate was Russell Ford, who was sent in by Danny Beale.
What was good to see was the interchange, the exchange of communication between Beale and Ford after the ball had been missed. Beale knew that he'd played the ball slightly too far out of Ford's reach. Ford, looking back, saw that, eye-to-eye contact between the two players, a little hand to say, look, I know I got it wrong, but at least that way as a teammate, you recognise that there's something that needs to be improved upon.
They have played much better than they did against England, that's for sure, and while they didn't get the result, it's certainly coming together for them. The team with a lot of youth, a lot of inexperience, but they're doing quite a decent job today. Now, this is an opening that they could do with. Working his way through was Deven.
You have to feel that Briels was a little bit lucky, as he did a huge amount of defensive running. It was just tiny shoulder contact, and it looked the combination of that little impact and the slipperiness of the turf led to Beale just losing his feet in the circle.
Budgeon sending this ball up, looking for the run of Matt Goetz, but doesn't quite get through there. Just about a minute to go in this. Belgium have clawed their way back each time Australia have pulled away. And to be fair, actually, this third quarter has been a lot better for them in terms of both their composure as well as their skills on the ball. Here they come.
Belgium coming forward, through Cousins looking forward. I think we might see this called back by umpire Greenfield for a card on Cirello in a moment, because there was certainly contact in the middle of the pitch. He can't do anything until the ball goes out of play or goes dead. There certainly appeared to be a signal suggesting that he knew what he'd seen. Australia keeping it live with Russell Ford down that left-hand side.
Thierry on to Dokier, and who got the opening goal for Belgium. Down to the right, Stock Brooks, another one of the young players who played for their junior squad in last year's Junior World Cup in Delhi around this time. Still no break in play.
Australia looking to run the clock down. I wonder if the hooter goes. Either umpire Greenfield will come back to it in any way.
That is the end of the third quarter. All eyes on Gareth Greenfield, but no decision given. It's a very, very close match at the moment. 3-4 at the end of the third quarter. There have been some spectacular goals, and this third quarter has also seen a couple. So there could be a few more, Simon, and that's what will make the fourth quarter unputdownable if it were a book.
Yes, indeed, and I think it's been a combination of fantastic hockey, some hideous defensive mistakes at times, some good goalkeeping and some average goalkeeping that combines to make it an all-round spectacle.
Well, you'll always get close scorelines between teams which are quite evenly matched, and make no mistake, Belgium are making some great strides in hockey. Favorite team for a lot of hockey viewers around the world. And they've certainly impressed in this match as well. But will they get the result in their favour? Still that one goal deficit to overcome. And Australia with their huge reputation to defend as 5 times champions.
The last few attacks have been a little bit sort of aimless. Let's get some structure back to that. Get the ball in and out, SAP.
Graham Reid, who was also in charge when Australia won those last of those 5 Champions trophies back in 2012. Now pretty much the full-time coach for them. So there will be a change, one would suspect. Charter possibly coming on. There he is, getting ready to take on the field.
Yeah, that consistent interchange of goalkeepers, keeping them both involved in the games, making sure that as the tournament progresses, they're in.
Well, you've been a goalkeeper yourself, so tell us about why teams opt to do that and how does it impact the thought process of a goalkeeper?
Well, you simply keep involved in the tournament so that you are ready when you are called on at all times.
Here we go. The 4th and final quarter has just begun. It's Belgium who are again looking to go on the attack, and if they can find an early goal, that will help them greatly.
And yet again, how many times do teams have to be either punished or get caught out to realise that the clock is when the game starts? The umpires are going to blow the whistle. They need to be in the right shape to avoid getting punished. And that time, even goalkeeper Charter wasn't in his cage as the whistle went, and he was sprinting back to get in position. Bone very, very nearly unpicking an unprepared Aussie defence.
Yes, he was backpedaling furiously as the game began, and the first attack nearly began from the Belgian side of the pitch. If they can find that equalizer, then we'll be in for a very exciting last few minutes in this game. And the sooner they get that goal, if they do get it, the better it will be as a spectacle. Oh, picked up so easily in midfield by Gunyard. This man has some exceptional ball skills.
Yeah, first free hit given to Belgium, because whilst coming away from that was an Australian stick. Looking here was the first time of Gunyard losing his stick as he just puts a hand into the back of Ockenden.
Slapping it into the D, looking for a Belgian stick at the end of it, but nicely defended by the Aussies. Looking a bit more composed now, the green and golds. They'll want a cushion of an extra goal if they can. Now, one goal is just not enough at this stage between these two teams.
Oh, not at all. And what's impressive from Belgium's perspective, relatively speaking in this competition, less experienced, though obviously they are going up world rankings very impressively, is that the Australian steamroller has not been effective. Quite often when the Aussies are in this mood physically, they just completely overpower their opponents, drive to that 2-3 goal lead, and then are untouchable. Belgium have been resilient and tenacious, and they've come back into this, showed real spirit to get themselves back within touching distance.
Certainly fans in India will have memories of the Australian steamroller that you talk about. Most famously that Commonwealth Games final of 2010, 8-0. This time though it's been picked up quite nicely. He's also controlled it well to begin with, but Florent Van Obel was undone by some swift defending by Chris Cirello.
Yeah, but it was exactly the same error as they committed against England, trying to pass a ball as the last fullback through your opposite number. And if you do that and your opposite number is committed with a hand on the turf, you are going to get unpicked. And Obel, if he'd known where Boone was, would have had an easy pass to the heart of the circle.
That's a ball onto the foot of Stockbrooks, and that's given a free hit to the Aussies. We'll be looking for that insurance goal, if one can call it that. 5-3 from there will make it difficult for Belgium at least to walk away with 3 points from this game. Oh, that's a superb run, but well done by Gukasov. Came off his line. It's a penalty corner nevertheless.
Cheap corner, Gukasov making an extremely good save, but as the ball bobbles free, it's Australia who react. Ball in here along the baseline yet again. A lot of space there as we're driving down with Godes. Gukasov coming out to commit, blocking the pass across his goal, which is what he probably should have done for the goal beforehand. That little nudge, unfortunately, finding the foot of John Doman, giving Australia their opportunity from the head of the D.
their fourth penalty corner. They have converted one, of course. Two conversions overall in this tournament for Chris Cirello, and the big man is out there in the middle and will be once again licking his chops.
It's also watching to see if the routines move on injection. There's been some shifts of spacers in the past.
Injection is a good one, as is the shot. It's been saved, the initial one, and oh, that missed by a whisker.
It did miss by a whisker, and Prasad was right on it. Cirello very nearly going straight down the middle again.
Still a chance for Australia. Have possession, but just giving it away. A couple of great chances for Australia.
Now we've got pace down the outside. Questions if he can burn around the outside. No, he hasn't got the pace to get past Simpson.
He has Dockyer inside the box as well as the captain, John Doman, but just couldn't finish it off. Australia a while ago had these two chances.
So out to the top, no movement from the stopper, so it makes the trap simple. Cirello going straight down the middle again, look, and Gukasov having to crouch down on it. Somehow makes the secondary save with the tip of his left glove is outstanding.
Really was. Both teams upping the tempo, and if this is what they're going to dish out, then I dare say some teams from Pool B will be watching this match and wondering if they'll face any of these two teams. Mind you, there will be openings because there have been some defensive errors at times. Now this has been whipped in with some power, but just hit a little too hard and also a little dangerously, taking a deflection along the way as well from Gunyard.
And Cirello just having a quiet word with Greenfield about where the free hit should be, and I agree with the umpire completely. If the ball goes off the baseline or it's given as a 16, then it needs to be in line with the 16, not 20 yards up. A defender will set themselves up anticipating 5 metres away from where the free hit should be. The ball rolls forward, it creates danger and controversy.
Yes, Aussies quite evidently from free hit, especially defensive ones, not great believers in the long ball, much rather pass it around among their own players. Is that something that is traditionally the case, or is it something that you notice with this team in particular?
I think most teams in principle would prefer to play through the 3 lines, so they prefer to play in terms of consistency, little triangles from defence to midfield to attack. But obviously, in theory, if you can pass the ball in one pass from your fullback to your centre forward.
That's a dreadful mistake from Lupai, which has given the ball away, but Wetton just couldn't quite capitalise. Oh.
Lupai, that's nearly twice. He's just had it picked off him. He's then set up a free hit and tried to drill it straight through Ogilvie, who I'm not sure whether he was 5 yards away or not, but nearly got unpicked twice. So his defensive error in the second quarter led to the first goal. He's then, I think he's been outstanding in defence in terms of his deep defensive positions, but his passing choices have been suspect at times.
Any wagers on whether his favourite movie is The Good, the Bad, the Ugly? Here's Belgium once again, down the right. Simon Gunyal. Got some options. Picked up, but also got his foot. Briels. That's why Australia will break away. Australia just inching towards a victory if they can get there, but just that 1 goal deficit, which will encourage Belgium about a possible comeback. Remember, things can happen at the last moment, as Indian fans will recall from last night, or rather not want to recall from last night. Just losing out by a very, very late goal from Germany. Fergus Kavanagh. Just couldn't control it there, Ockenden, and it's an opportunity yet again for Belgium. Down the left flank, Briels. He's got some support inside the box in the shape of Kjosters. Lots of physicality on display, but eventually it's the Aussies who come away with it. Ockenden.
Yeah, DePauw getting the ball taken off him. Australia are able to just intercept in this last 2 or 3 minutes. They've turned some screws in terms of getting the ball through midfield and winning it from their opposition.
This was slipped through and almost found a couple of deflections through to Wetton. But this time around there was some...
Well, it looks like Lupaert. The question from Wetton will be, did it hit Lupaert's foot? Because it was him deep in the circle. I felt that his defensive line was good, but he was just slightly upright.
Australians are asking for a penalty corner, played by back of stick. Inside the circle.
Back of stick, not foot, okay.
In the circle, correct?
Yes, yes.
Okay, I'll have a look.
Thank you.
Okay, so we're looking, does this hit the back of Lupart's stick? So there's the first touch. Now, if that's back stick, then if the Australians had seen the goal that was scored, the third Belgian goal, I think it's exactly the same. We're going to have to see it a lot closer than that. You can't see from either of those angles about the stick rotation. Going to be a camera from behind the bench area, I would suggest, that's going to give the perfect angle into the circle. Neither of those replays were obvious.
Tricky one for the video umpire, Andrew Kennedy.
So that's the pick. Look at the stick rotation. Is that back stick or is that edge? To me, the stick shaft is parallel to the floor, therefore it's impossible to see specifically what part of the stick it hits. I'd uphold the no corner at this point if I was asked to make a decision, because there isn't a full rotation. The goal that was scored, you could see that the blade of the stick was not parallel to the turf. The leading edge was raised. In that situation, I don't think you can be clear that that's back stick.
Looking at one more angle here.
So as it comes in, that's picked. Look at the stick. Is it parallel to the turf? The logo of that stick, that's parallel. To me, that's leading edge. That's not back stick.
Has not hit a foot.
No,
Therefore, you should restart the game with a bully.
No, it's not the foot. They're asking for played by the back stick.
Okay, again.
They're asking the Belgium player played by back of the stick, not for the foot.
There's no. I have checked. There is no reason to change your decision.
Thank you very much. There's no reason.
It is a bully. It is a bully to restart the game.
Okay, so we clarified the communication between the video umpire and the on-field umpire, so it was not conclusive. As we suggested, that back stick, you'd have to almost freeze frame it with some sort of laser technology to see the angle of the shaft of that stick, but I think that's the right decision in the end. Despite that communication between the umpires, there was obviously no foot and there was no obvious back stick.
And then a big decision in favour of Belgium in a sense, because had they conceded the penalty corner and conceded a goal subsequently, would have made coming back into this match difficult. As things stand, still only trailing by that one goal, and 7.5 minutes, ample time to force their way back into this game. Long ball, this time from Belgium, missed by Okenden, with some good clean up behind him from Kavanagh. Ricky Budgeon has possession. This time he goes for the long ball route, and just losing it probably in the sun there was Flynn Ogilvie.
Yeah, I was thinking exactly the same as that ball came up. With the sun where it is, the balls that go high cross field. We look at where the shadows of the players are off their shoulders across the pitch back towards the dugouts. Anything high ball up there, you're really going to struggle.
Here's Okenden. Lots and lots of space for him to work with. Down to the right.
That's not clean. We're going to see a card. I'm sure we are for Denea. It was clumsy late on. Tired man chasing back, and that's often what happens. It's not malicious, it's not deliberate, but as the legs start to tie up, you're a metre slow for where you want to be.
Can Australia bank on that man advantage? It certainly makes things a little bit more difficult for Belgium. 5 minutes in the sin bin. Oh, this is a good run coming through, bustling his way through.
Great first touch from Briels as he saw what his opponent was doing. Steps in field, first touch, taking the ball just a metre right to left to create the contact. And still going.
Yes, almost finding his way through just a while ago. Felix Denea was given a yellow card. There's confirmation of that. And at a critical time, because Belgium are looking to chase this game. He's served out about 1.5 minutes. There's still 3.5 minutes to go. And Australia just needs to ensure that they don't make any mistake. 3.5 minutes of his suspension, of course. Following which there'll be another 2 minutes of play. Here come the Belgians. They will need to defend stoutly here. Cannot afford to give away another goal, because that will make things very difficult as far as the comeback is concerned. Long ball aimed at Briels.
A little bit of gamesmanship from Charters in goal, looking to step forward, threaten that he's going to play it, encourage Briels to run that extra couple of yards. Belgium are going to have to be really, really solid with their possession. It's now about the decision-making in midfield. Allow Briels and possibly an interchange up front to do the shutting down legwork. It's going to be tiring and thankless for the midfield when they do win it back because of that pressure. They then have to keep real calm and make some sensible choices.
Oakenden finds a foot, and that's why Australia once again have possession. They're looking quite comfortable at the moment with the ball, looking to just run some time down, imposing themselves before they launch into another offensive. Matty Dawson, pace down the left, will be well exploited. Back to Dawson, looking to switch flanks, almost picked up by Briels. Still with Australia though. Looking for quite threatening. Tristan White was moving into a great position. Hit by the whistle. So the Red Lions looking for what will, if they manage to come back into this game and win it, only be their second win across a number of meetings with the Aussies across the last couple of years. Here's Depau.
Knowing that he had to go across the field, choose to go backhand. Belgium's only options now are to draw the Australian defence to one side of the pitch because they are a man. The Aussies got that extra man, Belgium are a man down, and when they do that, recognising that it'll be a bit last-ditch, high risk, but 45-degree passes towards the far side of the attacking circle will probably create the only opportunities they're going to find in these last 3 minutes.
Yes, remember, still down to 9 men because of Denayer's temporary suspension. That will make things quite intriguing here. Australia happy to get those long passes in, stretch the game as much as possible, and just every now and then, if they get an opportunity, explosive speed attempted there by Craig, but it's Hunyard who comes away with the ball. Very impressive player for Belgium.
That's the ball, 45 degrees, creates the space.
And it's the goal scorers from yesterday, Cousins, who almost won his way into the penalty area. Rather to be just
and Cousins is asking, I assume from the contact there's a stick check. That the Australian defence has held his stick is all I can assume.
Just hook a stick. Hook a stick. Yeah, no, look.
So what we're asking for, I believe, is there a stick check on Cousins as he comes in?
Just looking that the Belgian player's stick has been hooked, played in the circle here. So looking for a penalty corner.
Okay, so I'm looking for the Belgian stick being obstructed, yeah?
So it's that 45-degree pass that's really good. Cousins then starts to go into the circle, and as he drives in, is there a stick check at any point? Not now, it's now, it's this second phase play. There, is there a stick check? Yes, there is from Budgeon. So we're looking at this second phase. Cousins gets up and recovers, gets the ball, and as he drives in now, there's the stick check. Is it deliberate? Not sure how it's going to be blown. It's in the circle, definitely, and the stick is hooked. Nothing wrong with any of that. Umpire Greenfield didn't see that there was anything needed to be done. Good from Cousins, and there, I think we may well find a penalty corner because the stick check is inside the stick hook. An accidental foul, but I think we might have a decision coming soon. Belgium's certainly lined up as if it is a corner. I think that's inside.
For you, the Australian defender did hook the stick of the Belgian attacker, therefore you should award a penalty corner.
Thank you, Andrew.
Belgium.
Simon Mason, as always, with perfect decision making. You've been on fire today. The question is, can Belgium find their fire in this last few minutes of this game? A goal here, and it's anybody's game from here on.
Well, now this would be a turn up and would give us an incredible last 2 minutes if Belgium managed to pull this off. They haven't got Bone on the pitch, so they haven't got their first choice, but both Cousins and Lupiart have scored great goals. Cousins, particularly in tournaments over the last 9 months, has done fantastically well.
And like Lopia, will want to redeem himself. He's had a bit of an iffy game today, especially in his defensive duties, but if he can make up for it with a goal here, that'll be priceless for his team. It will just give them an opportunity to push forward for all 3 points in the last 2 minutes. It is Lupe, and it's well saved. What did it come off, though? That is the big question there.
Well, Belgium are saying it's not come off the glove of the player. They're saying it's come off the arm. If it's hit the glove of the hand holding the stick, it's a long corner, not a penalty corner. If it's hit higher than that, I believe it's body, and therefore it's a corner.
Was it going out? Penalty corner. Before the penalty corner. Yep.
Okay, so the supporting umpire has given that decision. That's great vision from umpire Prasad. So the Australians can't question it because they don't have a referral. Now, oh, that to me, we'd have to see it in super slow-mo, but that to me is Cirillo's left hand. He's gone up to protect his face pretty much, and it's come off, it appears, his left hand, but in super slow-mo might have been the point of his shoulder. Elbow, almost impossible to see.
It was an absolute melee, but what matters is no goal yet for Belgium. Second bite of the cherry. Once again, Lupe almost losing that ball. Again, excellent running, is it?
It's hit body once again. It's a re-award. Lupe with just a little touch on Hayward's hand as he's run, because he knows he's hit him, recognising how well Hayward is charging down these penalty corners. The athleticism of these international players. Look at the line. 2 hands on the stick, running straight at the ball to not give clear sight of the goal to the flicker. My personal philosophy is I don't agree with it. However, it's effective.
Yes, putting it all on the line, and Australia at the moment still have that slender advantage, which the Almi coach of Belgium does know about, and that's why he's anxious that this goal is scored by his wards, and if they can do that, then they'll be right back in it. This time looking to walk a variation.
Missed. Oh. Sorry, it's Dokia sliding in on that right-hand side. It's come off the top. The team defence of Australia, so strong in the middle of the goal. Out to the top, and they've identified there is a space. Look at Dokia coming in. Somehow he's missed the ball. Cirillo would have hit his foot.
Yes, it was beautifully worked, and the touch in from Cousins was quite impressive, but just couldn't finish off the job. Now, yet again with Belgian possession, can they put in one final push? Remember, they have 10 players on the outfield once again for these last 2 minutes. Suspension just completed. However, can they make the most of it?
Well, you do feel that corner barrage was probably their last chance. I know they've got 90 seconds left, but the Australian team defence will now just revert to the head of their circle. They'll play a tight zone, all putting 3 or 4 men on line. We've got a goalie sub, apparently, however, we're looking at on the far side of the pitch.
Yes, Jeremy Gukasov just coming off, and now one of the outfield players with goalkeeping duties.
Yeah, Loipaert's taken up the goalkeeping duties. Thankless task. But what that means is Belgium will now throw a centre forward high up the pitch. They've done so with Koisters starting right up on the dotted line. Loipaert as he takes it down, and Belgium are now going to have to look long.
Absolutely, that should be the idea, but scrambling, defending, somehow looking to work this last minute in their advantage. Australia as well as Belgium. Belgium trying for a foot there, just couldn't find one. In fact, advantage played. It's been whipped in all over the way inside the box, looking for a deflection, just couldn't get it goalwards there. Looking for a second goal was Flora van Obel.
And that was the chance. That was the chance. They've created it. Koisters has done his job. He's chased up front. Van Obel, the angles are all wrong. Now what we'll look at, we've got the clock is stopped as the 16 happens. We've got a green card, probably for time wasting, I should think, at this stage of the game. Yes, indeed, we've got Devin, Tim Devin, jogging off to take his seat on the bench.
Cirillo scoops this up, but it has been picked up in midfield by Belgium. One last push is what they'll be looking for. Last 22 seconds, last 20 seconds now. Looking to sweep this one in. If Australia can get it upfield, they'll be quite pleased with themselves. Remember, there's no goalkeeper as such now for the Belgians. All men, all hands on deck rather. Here comes the ball. This could be the last attempt, could be the last shot literally, but this has been, well, it has been scooped over, and that is There's now a referral.
There is a video referral suggesting that the ball has gone off the body of the defender. If the shot is on goal and the player is more than 5 yards away, then that is a foul. However, as a decision from Stockbrook's in the circle, it's dreadful.
Belgium have just looked, tug on the shirt. Obviously, if it has an influence with play, I'll have to go with play on.
Tug on the shirt.
Okay, so we've got a great cross-field ball. Van Doren finding Stockbrook. Stockbrook's now, for some reason, trying to shoot. That's dreadful. What Jean-Jean Doman, however, in the back of that shot is asking for, can't see it from that angle, is there a tug on the shirt on the back of the goal that makes any difference to the situation? And what we heard Greenfield say is, it's relevant if it makes a difference. So we're looking at the middle of the pitch here, the contest in the D. Huge contest in the D during that passage of play. Is it in any way having any effect? Back of the picture just gone out of shot.
It's a bit like a rugby scrum for a while.
Well, in principle, during the course of the game, the off-field incidents have been spotted by a disengaged umpire. There have been cards. However, you're looking at a situation, was it the same as what's happened earlier on during the game? If it's perceived to be the same off-the-ball incident, then I guess you have to go with the precedent that's been set. Tough call, though.
Absolutely. High drama here at Bhubaneswar. And what a time for him to get it if they can.
So there's no way Greenfield could have spotted that because he was watching the path of the ball. There was nothing wrong with the shot going over the crossbar. It's whether that off-field incident is considered to have an effect. And it appears, because of what's happened during the course of the game and the cards that were given for off-the-ball incidents, that it's been upheld.
So a last gasp chance here for Belgium to draw something out of this match, which in a sense could well be called poetic justice, but Australia have also given it their all, and it's really difficult to pick a winner out of this one. If Belgium can score here, it will cap off what has been a spectacular match.
Well, the Australians will be absolutely frustrated because they'll perceive it's off the ball, but if you're looking at consistency, umpires have spotted off the ball incidents. Belgium have gone to the video referral system because they have one, and it has to be seen that they've got a chance now.
And they have got this man on the picture. Tom Boone is in the middle now. Didn't play much of a role before this, but here is his opportunity if he can make the most of it. This could be huge. This could be massive, ladies and gentlemen. The last action in this game could decide whether Australia walk away with 3 points or just 1. Booters off. A player has charged out early.
And that is just a criminal error at this stage of the game. Breaking the line from Hayward. He's been an outstandingly effective #1 runner, and he's now massively compromised his team defence. They're going to have to realign, and with Bone on the top of the circle, without a man charging him down, you've got to say the odds swing in favour of the Red Lions.
All eyes will be on Andrew Charter, the goalkeeper. Can he pull this off? If, of course, the shot is on target.
Goalie can come and play here, right?
Sorry?
The goalie?
Yeah, that's fine. Yep, got a bib on. He's just checking the goalies coming up. They were okay.
That's fine. Wear the helmet. He has to remove the helmet. He can come and play anywhere else.
So 3 defenders alongside Andrew Charter as we look to once again get this final bit of action in this match going. Cushin's a good one. Tom Boone strikes it.
It's a complete misflip. He's not flicked it at all. The ball has rolled kindly. He's kept his head to smash it past the goalkeeper. He's been absolutely mobbed. It's anti-skill at its best.
It is, but what a fantastic match that we've been witness to. Absolute humdinger of a game in the Hero Champions Trophy, which has ended with honours even for both teams. Australia not happy, as sometimes you would have one team at the end of such a close encounter. Terrific, terrific game here.
So out to the top and stop. Bone tries to flick as hard as he can, gets completely under the ball, and then drills it past Charter's left foot. Nothing wrong with the finish, Australia a man down. That, he just doesn't collect the ball at all. His stick bobbles over the top of it. But that's the cleanest of strikes past Charter's left foot as Cirillo just tries to charge it down.
Yes, did the mistrap somehow work in his advantage, one would think. Anxious, putting legs all around, and that's what went in the favour of Yaron Delmay's team. What a match here in Pool A. Excellent, excellent entertainment for the crowd which is gathered at the Kalinga Stadium in Bhubaneswar. The Belgians quite pleased because this feels like it was a victory. They had to come back from the dead, literally. They were 3-0 down at one stage, and to come back and make it a 4-all is quite impressive for themselves. Terrific entertainment, the best game thus far, and setting a precedent in a sense for both these teams because they've now got their campaign up and running. Belgium, of course, had a victory yesterday, but today's match will also fill them with lots and lots of confidence.
Well, it's a mental statement as much as a physical one in terms of how they have adjusted to the 3-goal deficit they had, how they can step forward and take experience from it. That, however, suggests a coach who is unhappy with the outcome. But you have to look at the consistency. He will be frustrated, but the Aussies made their bed in the early parts of that game quite simply by battering their Belgian opponents.
Well, this was all the action from the second half. At this stage, it looked like they might well come back into it and walk away with the honours. Good finish from Flynn or Gilby. Some defensive errors all the way from Belgium, but right towards the end, plenty of action. This was the goal from John Doman, which brought them back to 4-3.
Yeah, it's where we've suggested on replay that this is actually back stick as it goes straight down the middle. John Doman touching it between the legs of Lovell. And then this is the final one. Anti-skill from Bone, but keeps his head, doesn't get disappointed. Does exactly what every coach will ask him to do. Keep your head down, contact, and the roar of the crowd will tell you whether it goes in or not.
Yes, and to think that this came as a result of a referral, which, as Simon Mason explained, was because there was a precedence of an off-the-ball incident being punished. Otherwise, might well have gone not so much against Belgium. Well, all even in every sense of the word. Belgium, in fact, interestingly, with better numbers for most of it. Possession telling the story of this entire game. And lots of cards on offer as well. 7 cards in all for both teams. Well, let's go down for the presentation to Michael Absalom.
Welcome along to the post-match presentation for this match between Australia and Belgium. Ken Reid joins me, FIH representative, to present our hero man of the match, and it goes to Russell Ford. Russell will pick up a cash prize of 25,000 rupees as well as his trophy, and we'll get some reaction to what was a cracking game, swaying both ways and some controversy there at the end. Finished 4-4. What's your reaction straight after the game, Rusty?
Yeah, look, initial reaction is probably a bit disappointed to draw in the end. We had the lead. You never like to give that up in the last few seconds, whatever it was. But the pleasing thing is I think we definitely improved on a few things from our game yesterday and put that into place on the field today. So, you know, that's the aim of the game, to improve each day, and it's a long tournament, so we're looking forward to the next game now.
So you get a day off now, then you've got a must-win game after that on Tuesday. How do you approach that?
Yeah, I mean, the day off will be good to freshen up, but it also gives us a chance to look at the video and look at the last 2 games in a bit more detail. Having the short turnaround, you probably don't get as much time to debrief the games as you would like, so we'll probably use tomorrow to do that and hopefully put it into play the coming game.
All right, we wish you the best of luck for the rest of the tournament. Well done on the man of the match.
Thank you very much. Cheers.
Well, the Kookaburras would have had visions of registering their first 3 points in this match, but Simon still thrown open Pool A. Of course, no big bearing, but quite an interesting situation here.
Yeah, and that game between England and Pakistan is going to be crucial, because if they can get the result against the team at the bottom of the pool, who, looking at what happened yesterday, are perceivably the weakest that's there, then they'll be stepping forward to a decent position moving forward.
These are the remaining matches for today. The next game just coming up in just a short while from now, England against Pakistan, and that'll be followed by Pool B fixtures, Germany against Netherlands. That could be a final clash in any big event. This, of course, is the best of the best, and that'll be followed at 7:30 p.m. local time That's about 2 p.m. GMT between Argentina and India, who will be itching to get on the board as well. Much like Australia have done, it's only a point and it'll feel like a bit of a loss because they were, for a large part of that, getting visions of finishing with 3 points. But Belgium bringing themselves back from the dead, first from 3-0 down and then to 4-3 down. It's been an exciting first game. 8 goals in the very first match, 3 more matches to go. So make sure that you do stay with us for all of that excitement. 6 more top teams to take to the pitch at the Kalinga Stadium in Bhubaneswar. It's a sunny and balmy day, but there's been some excellent hockey on offer, at least in the first 60 minutes that we have seen. And there's still 180 minutes of go. So do join us then for England versus Pakistan in just a short while. It's goodbye for now.